Pleasant good morning to the members of the media, members of the public, and all joining us this morning for the UNC's press conference. As the government, led by the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Visesa, continues to be accountable to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we take pride in doing two things: preserving the culture of our country and preserving the well-being and safety and security of our country. And this morning, we are joined by two very dynamic ministers. We are joined by the Minister of Homeland Security, Honorable Roger Alexander, and the Minister of Culture and Community Development, Honorable Michelle Benjamin. So this morning, as we start, I'd like to introduce the Minister of Culture, who has been doing a terrific job so far. Let's welcome Minister Michelle Benjamin this morning to present.
Good morning, all. Good morning, firstly, to the members of the media. I want to apologize for the minor technical difficulties that we had this morning, and so we are a few minutes behind our scheduled time. Anyone looking for us on YouTube, please join us on the Facebook stream, as we are having some internet issues that would be rectified at our next live broadcast. That being said, I would like to say good morning to the members of the media gathered here, to our cultural stakeholders, our artists, our entrepreneurs, our regional representatives, and everyone in Trinidad and Tobago tuning in to this live stream. This morning, we are here to discuss our carnival, the greatest show on the face of the earth. And as promised, when I was here last, I would... Again, I apologize, it's just some minor issues, but the show goes on, and we're here to report to you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So as promised, the last time I was here, I promised to keep you updated with everything that is happening with regards to our carnival. So I'm here to report to you. Today, we are here to discuss what happened over the weekend and what is going to happen for the remaining carnival season. Today, I speak to you from a place of deep pride, confidence, and absolute conviction. What we are witnessing right now is the result of hard work from the moment the Prime Minister declared that this carnival season was going to be a bumper carnival. My ministry and NCC went into overdrive to ensure that that happened. So, of course, members of the media gathered and everyone looking on the wide stream. Trinidad and Tobago is in the middle of a bumper carnival season. Our carnival is fuller, it is brighter, and is more impactful than ever before. What you're experiencing is a richer, safer, and more inclusive carnival, more economically impactful and more loved. I'm telling you, from every feedback that we are getting, everyone is impressed. Carnival 2026 is happening, it is thriving, and it is booming. And yes, by all measures, Carnival 2026 is a bumper carnival. And let me say this up front. This did not happen by accident. This happened because of deliberate work and decisions and choices made by the government of Trinidad and Tobago that understands that culture is not just a decoration, it is nation building. This government promised to put people first. I don't understand. This government promised to put people first. This government promised to invest in culture. This government promised to create jobs through culture. And believe you me, we accomplished that task this year. And this government is a government that is here and attending every event to improve after the other. Today, I'm here to show you clearly, transparently, and with figures that we delivered. A bumper carnival is a people's carnival. When we speak about a bumper carnival, we are not just talking about crowd size or vibes, but Trinidad and Tobago know that we surpassed every number that was recorded last year. A bumper carnival is a carnival where people can earn, where people can participate, where people feel safe, where people feel proud and included. The investment by the government of $137 million, this investment was well spent. From this investment, so far, we have directly employed 847 persons through short-term employment. Around the Savannah, we have over 211 vendors empowered. Over 150,000 patrons attended Flavor thus far, and we are nowhere near the end of the season. This is a noteworthy number because from records that we received from the fire service, it showed that for the entire season, only 74,000 patrons attended events at the Savannah. So that in itself is an accomplishment. So I want to tell my colleague that stood in the Senate yesterday, Mr. Faris Alwari, and said that Carnival is subdued. I want to tell you that Trinidad and Tobago Carnival is not subdued. It is a bumper carnival by all measures. The proof is in the numbers. So far, this government have supported 32 regional carnival committees, and we are still vetting more community groups that are coming forward to participate in this year's carnival. By all measures, we are set to employ over 2,000 persons, and that is just in the Port of Spain product that is Carnival. This number does not include what happens with regards to regional Carnival. So as I indicated, I will keep updating the general public as we go. These are not abstract figures. These are families coming out to have a good time, to eat, to purchase, and of course, when they purchase, the vendors benefit. These are young people working. These are small businesses thriving, surviving, and growing. These are communities celebrating with dignity. This is what a bumper carnival looks like, a carnival for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I wanted to take some time and discuss the Flavor Village, the heartbeat of this carnival season, our bumper carnival season. If there is one symbol of this carnival season so far, of course, that will be Flavor, the new addition. And as stated before, this new addition, we have over 150,000 patrons attending thus far. Our biggest night was January 24, where we recorded over 13,000 patrons. And yes, that was our largest single night. On the 23rd of January, the night before, we recorded 11,600 patrons. And of course, these numbers was given to us by the Trinidad and Tobago Fire Service, who is hired not just to keep us safe in that space, but also to monitor the number of persons coming to these events. One particular night, we almost had to close off the event because we couldn't accommodate more persons. Night after night, families keep returning. This is what happened. This is what happens when a government invests in culture. I want to report to you here that because of this new uptake with regards to Flavor, what we have experienced is that sponsors and companies, they are coming on board to participate. So much so that we have requests for persons to book venues, vendors seeking booths for 2027 Carnival. And that is an indication that there is an uptake with regards to the Carnival product and our culture. Flavor Village has proven beyond a doubt to be a successful addition in this Carnival season. More so, we had our major artists like Marshall Montano, Patrice Roberts, and Lady Lava, giving public acknowledgement of the success that is the Flavor Village. The goal set out by the ministry and NCC was to create an environment where the artists and the vendors have a greater opportunity to earn. And I believe during this carnival season, we were successful in doing just that. I want to report to you concerning John Cupid. The patrons that we have recorded with regards to John Cupid, this year, 45,000 patrons. And by all indications, it is 18% up from last year. Again, this is another successful space on the Savannah. What we have seen and this weekend prove us that persons are attending every function in mass numbers. For pan semis, the North Stand was full to capacity. Grandstand, the Greens, and the Drag. Our Trembigonian spirit is alive and well during this carnival season. A bumper carnival creates jobs, real jobs. As I stated, we directly employed 847 persons. So far, we have employed 400 road marshals, 200 ushers, 83 compliance officers. We are also in the process of employing custodians, more laborers, electricians, carpenters are still being employed, carpenters, welders, and of course, administrators. We have also reached out to the creatives. We have created employment opportunities. Everything with regards to our carnival product is well improved and set. Trinidad and Tobago, we have delivered to you. All the vendors are reporting that every night at the Flavor Village, they are sold out. There is not one vendor that has given a bad report thus far. What I want to indicate to you also is with regards to our regional carnival. So far, the government have invested over $6 million in our regional carnival and set to do more this coming week. We have invested in stick fighting, camboulet, traditional mass, and dragon festivals. I want to tell you with regards to Panorama and the numbers that we saw at the Savannah this weekend. This weekend, we had Panorama semis, and the numbers indicated so far is over 26,000 on that one particular day. We are set to have Legacy Monday on February 9th, and also our Pan Finals on Valentine's Day. When it comes to safety and cleanliness with regards to our carnival product, rest assured that everything is in place. This is an all-government approach. Local government is on board, public utilities, and of course the Ministry of Works. We have also invested $3.2 million with regards to security. We are sparing nothing with regards to the security and the safety of the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. When I leave this press conference here today, I have another stakeholders meeting where we are meeting at 1 p.m. at the grandstand to further discuss and put things in place with regards to the route and to make sure that we have no congestion when the bands are crossing the stage. I want to report here that the Soca Drum is almost completed, so everything is set with regards to our carnival. When it comes to our hotels, our Airbnbs, and the flights coming into Trinidad and Tobago, as I reported before, we are all set with regards to being a bigger carnival than last year. So far, we have recorded over 37,000 visitors and projected to do more, according to Carl. All my reports and indication is that the hotels are fully booked, and we also have persons that cannot get a booking right now. So Trinidad and Tobago, I'm asking you to look at the bigger picture. Our carnival has improved. Culture works. Investment works when a government puts money into its people. We did not just make statements, we made sure that we delivered to you. Let me close with this. Carnival 2026 is a bumper carnival because it belongs to everyone. It is a bumper carnival because it is creating opportunities for everyone. It is a bumper carnival because it is safe, and we have delivered to you and will continue to do so. At the launch of the carnival season, we promise that you're going to love this, and we have delivered. Come out, participate, and continue to enjoy. I would like to take this time to thank the chairman of my board, Mr. Peter Kanhai, and also to express condolences on the passing of his mom. I would also like to thank my vice chairman and all the communication teams throughout the ministry. They have not slept since the carnival season started. We are here, we are committed, we have reported to you, the numbers are up, and if you could judge this carnival by anything, you have to judge it by the participation of persons and the numbers which cannot lie, and the pictures that paint 1,000 words. Thank you, and I await your questions.
Thank you very much, Minister Benjamin, and we congratulate you for the very dynamic work you've been doing to ensure the people of our country can have a great carnival that respects and preserves our culture. Now I'd like to welcome the very hardworking and dynamic Minister of Homeland Security, who has been doing an excellent job at working for our national security. Let's welcome Minister Roger Alexander.
Thank you. We're still at the morning level, right? Good day to all. And the media is a little excited to see me standing before them. Let me say good morning to the media, Trinidad and Tobago. Most of all to all law-abiding citizens of this good nation. Good morning to our visitors. They are here for the next 2 weeks to enjoy what my colleague have already described as a bumper carnival. So let me tell you as much as I can today. And let me assist my colleague in ensuring that law enforcement will assist in this bumper carnival. Today, we are here to explain to members of the public what is taking place in terms of carnival. Now, law enforcement will in fact have a press release to treat with many of your questions that you might want to ask. However, carnival to me is joy. Carnival is about culture. Carnival is freedom. Carnival supports all creed and race. Carnival is part of our DNA. And part of the most important part of carnival to me is to provide that safety and security and the protection for all citizens and visitors alike. Let me be clear by saying this. 2026, we have a safe carnival. Our intentions are, in every city, every borough, every town, every street, and every corner, we must provide that level of safety for all. Safety and security during Carnival is this government's focus. When people put on the costume and they cross the stage in Port of Spain, Chaguanas, or wherever, they must be able to do so without fear. The People's Commissioner of Police, my Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad-Bissessar, have instructed me, and I too have instructed all the teams under my command, that we must have a safe carnival. So the message today, Carnival is for enjoyment, not violence. Carnival also for families and not for criminals. If you come out to fight on our nation's streets for Carnival, if you think Carnival, you will take the advantage to frustrate persons, to commit offenses against them, I suggest you think again. You will meet law enforcement at every corner. The government and Prime Minister and the Commissioner of Police are all here to stop your foolish behavior. Next week, they will meet with us now and put an end to the plan. So if you decide to time us and feel that you could move from one week into another, we'll address you accordingly, the criminal elements. What we plan to do, or what we plan to put in place for 2026 Carnival, the Carnival must be secured. It's not just guesswork. We didn't guess how we're putting together the framework for Carnival. It is a planning by arms of security services and the NCC. It is a coordination between the ministry and all arms of national security. The visibility and presence of police officers and other task forces. It is intelligence-led by the Commissioner of Police, and it is enforcement by men and women of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And it is safety for all, by all. Our citizens also have a part to play. Your eyes and ears are important to us. If you see something, say something. We all have parts to play to ensure that we all have a safe and secure Carnival. I want to take time to express congratulations to the Commissioner of Police and the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Ms. Suzette Martin. She's the gold commander for Carnival 2026. DCP Martin took control of the safest and oversee the safest pan-preliminary semi-finals in Queen's Park, Savannah, ever. For the first time, 3 major events were happening within feet of each other, without incident. Thousands of citizens were in the grandstand, north stand, in the drag, and in the flavor. All being supervised and overseen by the Commissioner of Police and his Deputy Commissioner of Police. Apart from this, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service has rolled out phase 2 of Operation Festive Shield. Just a week or two ago, under the theme Operation Safety the Vibes. So it's Operation, let me say this again, Operation Secure the Vibes. So the police has already rolled out Operation Secure the Vibes. Visible intelligence, border and ban security, enforcement, safety for all. Let me explain that in plain language. If you are a criminal or a member of a gang, and you want to know, I just want you to know that you should not come to Carnival and attempt to cause any disruption. I suggest you stay home. And to our law-abiding citizens, the police wants you to know that they are with you, securing the vibes, protecting the people, and preserving the culture. They need you to do your part and follow instructions. And I repeat, follow instructions. Members of the public and law-abiding citizens, when an officer gives instructions, it is not pressure or malice. It is for public safety. The police and I, as a former police officer, we want you to live We want you to live, be alive and safe. So when the police gives you instructions, I suggest that you comply. Listen to them and do as they ask. Some persons in this country believe that when time for carnival, there's no rules. That statement is quite incorrect. The rules for the season and why they matters, some people don't like rules. It's plain. But rules are what stops the carnival from turning into a crime scene. The government and Prime Minister has declared Carnival 2026 a special event under the law. At 7 p.m. on Sunday, 31st of February, that's 4 days ago, to midnight on Tuesday, the 17th of February, 2026, there will be restrictions. And these restrictions are for our own safety. The last thing we want is to spoil the fun. Remember that. We don't want to spoil the fun. For example, the regulations stopping things like wearing police and military type uniform, carrying weapons, explosives, using exposed flames, among other things. Let me talk about the big one, the glass bottle ban. The glass bottle ban is in effect, not only in Port of Spain, but at all carnival celebrations, even in villages and towns nearby. No authorizations were given to persons to have glass bottles in a public place within 100 meters of carnival events during the season. Why? Because glass bottles can quickly become a weapon. I urge all vendors not to break the law and use cans and plastic bottles. And in case you are unaware, the police service can seize your bottles. There's a breach of the glass bottle ban also carries a penalty. So I'm saying to everyone, leave the glass bottles at home. I want to say something else. Alcohol and bad judgment has ruined so many nights of fun. And the TTPS has been telling the public, be aware of your surroundings, drink responsibly, and always use the right angle of thought, which is really discretion. When people drink too much, tempers rise, argument starts, and then a silly situation can quickly turn into a tragedy. So I'm asking those who likes to drink, for peace sake, don't. Walk away from drama and try to follow the rules of law. And do not let your ego take your life. As I said before, there are multiple agencies planning went into Carnival 2026. We have ensured that everyone is on the same table. As every clear-minded citizens know, Carnival safety is not one ministry, just one arm of the state. Carnival is too big for that. Some planning has already been happening with agencies and Carnival stakeholders, covering interagency deployment and information sharing, public safety and emergency preparedness, crowd control, access and exit points. the movements and sharing of resources, medical facilities, sanitation and waste management, band logistics, route management, safety protocols, and also communication and coordination. That is the kind of planning that went into protecting our citizens. Let us speak to manpower. Carnival is a national operation. Large crowds, long hours, multiple locations. Carnival have many moving parts throughout the country. So to many and to my friends in the media, the answer is yes. We are calling out all police officers, whether on leave or not. Not because we are scared, but because we are serious, because the public deserves coverage, because our officers deserve support, and because we want a visible presence, not gaps. Carnival safety is not just in the savannah, not just one route, not just Port of Spain, not just Arima, Tunapuna, Chaguanas, Cuva, or San Fernando. The whole country must be protected. So while we secure carnival spaces, we also maintain national operations. Because the citizens in Moruga matters, the families in Mova and Lavantil also matters, the business owners in Twin City and Chaguanas matters, and of course, my brothers and sisters in Tobago. Under this government and the Prime Minister, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissess's leadership, everybody will be provided to the level of safety and security, because when people are safe, everybody wins. I was saying that I focus on the police officers. All the media is getting excited. The Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, this government gives its full support. You have a full support of my Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, who I know loves and cares for you, and you have the support of our entire government. Never for a moment think otherwise. I know firsthand that you are doing a difficult job. You are faced with real danger, and you are holding the line for the public, and I respect you for that. But I also say this clearly: no police officer is above the law. Support does not mean you do what you want. Support means doing your job, doing it properly, doing it fairly, and doing it with integrity. We must also take into mind or consideration we do it and respect the public. I know it is hard because I've been there. You are the first to blame for a number of issues in the public domain. In order to gain respect, you must show respect. We are proud of the officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, supported by our colleagues from the Defense Force, when carnival time occurs, and they accompany police officers on duty. Members of the public, we support law-abiding citizens. We support and protect law-abiding citizens, and of course, uphold the law. And remember, when you wear a uniform, you represent more than yourself, more than the police service. You represent the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So do your jobs with pride and do your job with integrity. And I want to thank the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and the Commissioner of Police for doing a fine job in making Trinidad and Tobago for the last 10 months a safer place. I am not here in any way trying to influence persons about what is happening presently on the ground. But I can say this. We must learn in Trinidad and Tobago to celebrate life and not deaths and murders. Instead of supporting what works, we have seen persons from the past regime sometimes support everything that this government put together for the purpose of protecting our citizens and ensure that they live. But instead, they continue to support every element. It seems like they are showing, toting, or worshiping the criminal elements. We don't intend to get soft with crime, as we would have seen those in the PNM did before. And every time they get soft, the criminals get more bold. They're doing things in the presence of others. They don't care. They believe that nothing could be done. We don't intend to relax. We don't intend to get soft. We don't intend to ease up. If we have to tighten the rope, then so be it. Members of the public, as we stand today, the Ministry of Homeland Security wants to ensure that everybody has a fantastic, safe carnival. Let us respect our visitors. Let us respect our law enforcement officers. Let us respect law-abiding citizens. As I leave you today, and I will take your questions, Carnival belongs to the people. Let me say this again. Carnival belongs to the people, not to the gangs, not to the drug lord, not to the drug trafficker. The people of Trinidad and Tobago owns the carnival, and it is our responsibility to secure the carnival by any lawful means necessary. Again, I want to thank you today, and I wait for your questions.
Thank you very much, Minister Alexander, Minister of Homeland Security. We'd now like to open up the floor for questions from members of the media, so I'd invite both Minister of Culture and the Minister of Homeland Security to join us, and we'd like to get your questions. All right, so all right, so first question.
Hi. I have some questions for both ministers, but I'll start with Minister Alexander. So, Minister, you would have sent out warning to criminals and so on if they intend to go to stay home. We know that during the SOE, certain persons would have maintained those detention orders would have been signed by you alleged troublemakers based on what was stated. So I wanted to find out from you, what is the total number, the exact number of prisoners who were detained under the state of emergency?
My figures, I hope I'm correct as of this morning, 182. I'm of the opinion, I hope I didn't go too far. 182, yeah, about that, 182 persons.
180. Of the 182, Minister, how many have been released?
A number of persons have been released. Let me correct myself here. A number of persons have been released, and I think over 43 or 44 persons have been charged. However, investigations are not stalled there. So persons may have been released, but persons will eventually be charged as evidence comes forward.
We have heard that some of those places are planning to take legal action against the state as Minister of Homeland Security. What is your ministry have in place for that at this moment?
The ministry have done everything necessary under the law, with the guidance of the law, to put together or to detain persons that we would have seen. Now, I want to ask this question. Sometimes I like to ask questions. A preventative detention order. What does prevention mean? Is it that you're preventing something before something happens? Can I ask yourself that question and answer it too? Go ahead.
I would switch to Minister Vestment.
Good day, gentlemen, Garden Media. As we have Mr. Alexander there, instead of switching and going back, keep with the questions. And sticking with the same vein, most of the detainees held between yesterday were free without charge arresting, including 4 men who were supposedly plotting to murder your friend during the stage, including in that 4 was a police officer. Based on your information, how safe is not only Minister Sturridge, but the wider public, given what these people have?
The police service by itself don't operate. We have intelligence-led persons, we have intelligence sections and all of that. What I can assure you is that Mr. Sturridge is good. He's safe at this time. However, the investigations continues. Some of the persons did not reach the threshold that charges were laid immediately. However, that doesn't take away the fact that charges may eventually be laid. Now, for the members of the public, again, it's about safety and security. And the Homeland Security, together with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service and others, we will do whatever we have to protect our citizens. Again, this will be done by any lawful means necessary.
Now, as far as you are aware, what further assistance does the PPS need to change or increase their information and intelligence to evidence so that we will see people being held, fed, and released?
While I would love to answer you, and I will say this over and over, evidence is an important thing. Evidence comes from a number of areas. So if it reaches a stage that we need to get evidence, it will eventually come. I can't share with you where the evidence is coming from, because it doesn't make any sense. You might write a report, and next thing you know, the person's aware of where I'm coming from.
Not in that sense, do they need more manpower? Do they need legislation? Do they need people? What more does the PPS need to move from intelligence evidence so that we have arrests and charges and hopefully conviction?
Well, if you heard me before, I said that some of them did not yet reach the threshold. But that is not over. The investigation continues, the gathering of evidence continues until such time.
So time is a major factor. They need a little more time.
Well, you can say so if you want to.
Does that needing more time equate to another SOE to allow them some freedom, because the police some freedom to make arrests without the legal tools?
This government, and I support what my Prime Minister already said, If the criminals cannot behave themselves, then maybe we have to force them to. The criminals are not more important than our good citizens in Trinidad and Tobago. So if the good citizens want to live in peace and the criminal is causing them not to, then we must remove someone from someone, and we intend to live here as good law-abiding citizens. So then the criminals might be the problem.
Now again, you said the time is one of the factors you mentioned. The SU went on for 6 months and 2 weeks.
I think you're answering your own question, really. I didn't say anything about time. I said the threshold has not been reached yet. All right? So,
more time.
well, that's your opinion, right? But go ahead. I should hand you the mic.
6 months and 2 weeks. As far as you're aware, based on the information that you have in communication with the Commissioner of Police, how much more time do you think it's reasonable?
Jensen, with all due respect, the minister has answered the question, and you're not, no, Jensen, you're now going into a dialogue as if this is an article we are writing together. The minister has told you. I want to clear up one thing. One thing, you spoke about manpower and operational issues. What the minister has clearly said is that the threshold has not been met as yet because investigations are ongoing. That is not because of any shortcoming from the government or from any lack of resources. Secondly, this issue of time, the minister has cleared that up, and we've made the point that the investigations are ongoing. So we'd like to go on to another question now. Doris, yes.
I have several questions. First, we're going to start with the technical difficulties that occurred earlier that prevented us from having a live-streamed national media conference that is being described as a government media conference from the UNC headquarters. This is an issue that was raised on multiple occasions. Given what happened here today, would you guys be reconsidering using state facilities to ensure that technical difficulties don't cause us to not be able to communicate with the population live?
Thank you very much, Teresa. As you rightly said, we had technical difficulties. These are very unforeseen difficulties, one. Secondly, this is the first time it has happened in a very long time. Third point, you use the word communicate to the population. I want to point out to the population that this government has been communicating 3 times a week, Wednesday, Sunday, and at times post-cab. So because we've had technical difficulties on one day, or a needle in a haystack kind of period, it does not mean that this was a attack or this was purposely done so the population did not get to hear, because first of all, we've recorded it, it will be put out, the recording will be there, and also we have a lot of faith in you, the media, to report the accuracy of what was said here. So the technical difficulties will not hamper you, the media, from reporting the accuracy that is presented here. So second question, Doris.
Almost every press conference they've had in the last 10 months.
I will remind you of that confidence.
Yes.
All right, so I want to go back to Minister Alexander. And I know that you kind of shut down my colleague on the question, but I have to ask it again in a different way so that we could all leave here with a better understanding. What we're asking is, when the minister says that the threshold has not yet been met, and you have Mr. Morris indicating that it's not because of a shortfall of resources, we are left concerned or questioning then why these individuals are not charged yet. What is the threshold that needs to be met? If it is not time, if we could get an explanation of what that threshold is.
I am not prepared to give you that information for one or more reasons. This is national security. And I would not want to give you that information. However, I will say again, in some of the cases, the threshold had not yet been reached. Underline the word not yet. All right? Reached. Meaning that it hasn't reached there yet. So, saying that, having said that, understand what we are saying, that we are continuing to do investigations into these things, and whenever it reaches a stage where it is ready, you all will be the first to know. That's all right?
Take that.
Yeah.
All right, so there have been some calls for the police commissioner to be fired following his statement surrounding the police killing of Joshua Samuel. There were also calls for yourself to resign.
Okay.
How do you respond to people unsatisfied with the state's response to that incident?
Okay. First of all, I am the Minister of Homeland Security, and I will continue to serve my country as long as the Honorable Prime Minister gives me that portfolio to do so. Furthermore, my job entails a lot of activities. Some I could explain, some I cannot. When the people call for these things, sometimes persons are hurting, it's an emotional call and all of these things. I continue to understand because I was here before. I was in that position that the commissioner was in before, not as a police commissioner, but as a senior police officer involved in operations. And I know, no matter what it looks like, evidence is what changes the game. Evidence is what the police need to do to bring someone before a court to be dealt with according to law. And it's the court that, in fact, adjudicates on things, and not really the court of public opinion. So we must just forget, you mustn't just drop off and say, well, hey, the court of public opinion say. Let us get the evidence and present it at a place so prescribed.
So is it that you continue to have, you and the government, full confidence in the police commissioner to continue this mandate, but not only that, to deliver justice for people who want to see it, manifest and come to fruition?
And let me tell you this. I have spoken to the Commissioner of Police and the investigators involved in the matter that I show that you are speaking about. A time frame was given with respect to when the file should be submitted. And when this is done, when all the information is gathered, the file will be taken to the Director of Public Prosecution, and his decision we will continue to respect. And then the chip will fall where it may. That is a government position.
As a former police officer, we've seen numerous instances where officers involved in certain incidents that are under investigation, they attempt to be set on leave. We haven't seen that in this instance. In fact, the police commissioner would have recommended that they receive some sort of counseling. Based on your experience
All right.
and expertise,
Yeah.
would you say that that was the right move?
All right. You see, for those who don't understand the procedure, and sometimes you all listen to persons who were here for a short time and form their own opinions, I understand that. And I understand why that is going down that particular road, because some persons looking for mileage while they are shut down. And we can relate to that. Let me explain to you how this procedure really goes. Whenever a police officer is involved in a shooting incident and somebody dies, you have 4 investigators. A senior police officer, Professional Standard Bureau, the homicide, and the PCA for oversight. That is 4. What normally happens is, during that investigation or after the shooting, the police must seek counseling. Because sometimes you will sit there and form an opinion on what you thought you saw and what you saw and all of that. And fine, I understand that. The investigation is going on. But there are persons involved. There are victims on both sides now. And that's what I said and get everybody so upset. The police is also victims. That person don't understand. So they must go for counseling in order to be treated with mentally and otherwise. So when persons made a statement about leave, after the counseling, recommendations could be made for the police officers and them to go and leave as the case may be. So sometimes you hear persons rumbling on. There's nothing in the books. A lot of persons are now before the court and have to pay damages. You know why? Because there's something that persons throw into the mix called, what leave that's called it? That's called it some fancy name. They give it some leave, administrative leave. There's nothing in the books that speaks to administrative leave, I have never seen it. I don't know if you all in police, in reporting for a number of years, there are persons who throw that in the mix to appease members of the public. And now, I can show you, well, if I had my documents here, I'd show you. There are persons who has been placed on administrative leave continuously for the last 3 or 2.5 years without being charged administratively. You see? We are not here this government is not here to cover up anything done by any agency, especially under my responsibility. We are here to ensure that law and order and justice must fall where it's supposed to, and not designed by persons to encourage it. Yeah? Having said that, we, the government of Trinidad and Tobago, as soon as the file with respect to that information is finished, I know it will be sent to the relevant authority, most of the time, not all the time, the Director of Public Prosecution, and he would make a decision that this government will stand by. You see? And the chip will fall with me.
You, in that regards to that same issue, you would have spoken about the recording that made its way to social media,
Right.
legislating to control.
No. You see, that is, I think that, sometimes I think I speak in a certain type of language, but I know it's difficult sometimes for you to understand because it is what it is. When I spoke to that, it's like this. Everybody has a camera on their house, that's all. How can you legislate against that? Think about it. You know what I said? If I have a camera on my home, I have no problem putting it out in the social media. But give the authorities an opportunity to investigate first. That's all I was saying, So probably we need to say, well, hey, before you do that, give it to the relevant authorities. I will tell you why. Now, with the advancement of AI and all these things, we have to be careful, And then what people don't know or are aware of, you as the house owner has to give evidence in this matter because you have to describe how you gave me possession of this. So, my lady, and for members of the public, I did not, I see even CNC3 or somebody put up something, how $10,000 for, I don't know where they came that from, utter rubbish as usual. But what I'm saying to you is this, think about it, evidence is important. That is the only thing that can determine guilt or innocent in a matter. And that is all I was explaining. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, well, piggybacking off of what you just said, we have a High Court judge that would have told the public in one of his rulings to continue to report police officers when they are in the process of executing their duties. Your thoughts on that?
The police should not have any problem with that at all. I never used to have a problem with it because, and I can go there, because I will tell you why. The police is operating in a professional manner. But you know what the social media does? They take out all the front piece where the man was resisting first and then show the part where the police trying to execute on him. Again, we have to be careful. But I applaud it. Let me tell you why I applaud it for. Then, and only then, the public might be able to see something. But then, I understand that too. But we must also remember, we must put guidelines and policies in place to treat with that statement. I will tell you why. Because if you come up to my face, and while I'm trying to execute my duties and say, boy, you didn't do the man, do nothing, and the man don't, are you obstructing me? Are you assaulting me? So one of the things that they must put in place with respect to that is distance and balance. It cannot just be up in your face like you see the camera up in your face, Alexander, you're kicking the man and all kind of things. Sometimes it's not even happening. But they are saying, the lady would have said, oh, you're wicked, the wicked lady? She have a remote control that says the same thing over and over, even when it is not happening.
There were some feedback on the hunger strike at Tetra Barracks. I'm sorry to my colleagues, I'm sure they'll be interested in these questions as well. At Tetra Barracks, there is a hunger strike ongoing. People want to be relocated where they will be formed, and we understand that there's some works going on at one of the facilities. Any response or reaction to that? Listen,
this government, though one might think, we intend to treat everybody fairly, And as soon as things are completed in a particular place and all is well, persons might return. However, remember, there are areas that was designated as prisons. Do I didn't see anymore?
The reason, if I just pass it on to
Just
two more. We have experts on TV6 here.
Yeah, like that words.
On migrant registration, if
Yeah.
somebody if they received a deportation order for coming into the country illegally, can they still apply for a card?
We want them to come. I will tell you why. We want them to come. We don't want persons to just be roaming in this land anymore. You know, one thing I would want to say openly here, and I'll go to my Prime Minister with it. This country is the only country, probably in as far as we can go, where citizens and non-citizens walking about the place with some form of ID. You know, that sounds strange and unusual. So I confront you for some reason, and you tell me your name is Darius the James. But that's not really your name. And I'm supposed to take that, and then there's a whole controversy. You don't think it's time for persons to walk about with some form of ID, especially when you're above a certain age? I just showed it out to you because you're a thinker, it looked like. Go ahead.
All right, final question. Regarding the situation with TLT nationals in Syria, there is some chaos happening right now with the Kurds and the Syrian Democratic Forces. Could we have an update on repatriating those nationals here?
I am part of a team in Homeland Security, and I can tell you this. We are having some difficulties because of what is presently taking place there now. As soon as things settle down somewhat, we will try our utmost best to bring our citizens home. All right? We try our utmost best to bring our citizens home. As it stands right now, there's a level of difficulty. All right? Well, you remember there was a breaking out and a set of things going on there, you know, so let us wait and see. All right?
Thank you, Minister Alexander. Thank you for CNC3 Guardian Media.
Yeah,
we'd now like to invite the other media houses.
Yeah, one more question. Still, right?
And let me just switch to another media house before I come back to Guardian. Right. Well.
Good morning, Minister Alexander and Minister Benjamin. Well, there's a lot of point solutions. Given everything that was said before, in terms of we see that the NSA ended on Sunday. And immediately after there was that murder shooting observed last night. What measures now over the Christmas period we've seen that there's more visibility in terms of police vehicles being fixed mechanically. How soon are the rest of vehicles to be deployed on the street of the nationwide? With respect to the national surveillance camera system, and in terms of body cameras for
Let me see if I can deal with all of the above questions. When you have a car or cars that went down for something like the brake system, and it remains there for 12 months, 14 months, then the tires go flat, the battery goes dead. So then it started off with one cost, and now might cost the government a different cost to get it back up and running. And that is what we met. That was how the PNM cared about you as a citizen, by putting the vehicles and them in the scrapyard for batteries, for tires, for brakes. Yeah? But we are working on it. And you have seen it. You have seen the results of it. The Prime Minister would have given over 76 cars, including SUVs and things, to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service over a period of time. And we presently have some vehicles waiting to start our new project, and some equipment coming from elsewhere to start our new initiative for the safety and security of our citizens. With respect to the gang warfare, it means that they don't intend to live among us. And to some extent, they don't want us to live around them, because they are killing out persons. I said it openly here, and I'll say it again. The black man has become an endangered species. Whether they like it or not, it is the truth. We can't seem to get along even with ourselves. My lady, this government intends to do whatever it has to ensure that every citizen can walk this road freely, Go to your church, go to your homes, and remove that fear of crime. It is difficult because of the support from the opposition and others. It is taking a little while. But to get it done, we will. Remember that. It's a mandate from the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, Mr. Alexander. I just have two more questions for you.
Listen, I have my colleague here who's doing a fantastic job for Carnival. All right.
You mentioned 182 prisons.
Yeah, average, I think. Let me.
Can you confirm whether all prisons, given that the state of emergency has come to an end, whether all prisons have been released, other than those who have been charged from detention at this point?
Well, let me tell you this. There are some persons who were already serving time. They cannot be released. Right? I don't know the numbering. So they cannot. Yeah, they cannot. Yeah, they were detained under the SOE, but they were already serving time, or they were detained for offenses without bail. So they would not be released. Understand?
Okay, sure. Do you have anyone other than those who were previously serving time? I'm specifically speaking about those who were taken off the streets where you would have signed detention orders and they would have been taken to a detention center. Do you have any of those prisoners remaining other than those who were previously serving time or those who have been charged? All right.
Unless the persons were, you might have seen persons removed from the streets. It doesn't mean that they were removed under the detention order. You see? It could be that they were arrested on warrants and other things. So having said that, I cannot give you a number. No one ought to still be there under normal circumstances. All right? It's the police and the prison's responsibility to give us the information as the case may be as to what is happening. And I don't think anybody was left there, from my knowledge. All right? But if persons were there, it could have been something else attached to it. There were persons who were detained for firearm and all of that, and still brought in on detention orders.
I just want to follow up on one of the research questions, and you would have mentioned that there's nothing such as administrative leave. But there were reports that one of the police officers, alleged reports that one of the police officers involved in the shooting of John Salmon was among a team of officers who returned to the area where the shooting happened days after and was conducting raids. We know that those officers have been taken off of active duty. But Minister, given your former experience in police service, do you have concerns that they're being, within that police station or wherever they are, that they can in fact influence, they can in fact intimidate and have some bearing on that investigation that is doing?
The police officer in Trinidad and Tobago is one that should have integrity, professionalism, pride, work with excellence, respect, and all of that. So it's difficult to challenge that coming from a man. You see, what we have done, we have created our own rules and not those associated with the laws and the SOE and the standard operation procedures of the police. Take, for instance, if I am involved in something, obviously, I will return to the scene. I will tell you why. I have to go and point out where this happened and that happened. Are you aware of that? They take the victims back to the place to revisit the scene. I don't know if it's that you saw. But if that is the case, that is normal. If you are robbed on the outside here, the police will bring you back and say, where you were standing, look for this, look for that. So we have to be careful how we see things and bring it out to members of the public.
That they were in fact conducting raids. It wasn't a situation where they were pointing out where this happened, as in they were speaking to residents. I am not sure what the nature of that was, but that is what she did.
I would like to see that though. I don't want to say anything to it because to me, there are a number of situations that someone could have reappeared there. And in terms of threatening persons, you said?
Intimidating was a great
If we look at how the criminal element is behaving in Trinidad and Tobago, doesn't that seem very intimidating to you? You're shooting, they shot a man in the middle of just Port of Spain on the ground and all of that. To me, that is intimidating. You observe a man running with an AR-15 on the other side. You saw a man running up the hill with an AR-15? To me, that is intimidating. The police is not here to war anybody. The police is here for your own protection and safety. So, I'll give you all of that to tell you this. At the end of the day, when the investigation is completed and the Director of Public Prosecution get the files and make a recommendation, the chips will fall where it may. But the only place that could be dealt with is a court of competent jurisdiction and not one that the citizens seem to putting together from time to time. Every time that the police is involved in a shooting. But when the civilian is killing his neighbor, and we go to, you get this kind of operation. What? Nobody wants to talk. Nobody saw anything. And that is what we have created in our own society, where people are so afraid of the criminals that they move out of their homes to live elsewhere. They are afraid of the police, but they are traumatized by the criminal element. Let's move that away.
All right, so let me pose my question to Mr. Benjamin. Minister, you would have mentioned several aspects in where and so on. I wanted to find out, I don't know if I missed it, but correctly, whether you have spoken to the Promoters Association, and I'm speaking about that in terms of the changing of venues from like stadia and so on, how that may have impacted it at all, or whether their event is actually still approved as well.
From all indication, all of the events that were moved, for example, I'm aware of experience that took place in Skinner's Park, and speaking to that promoter, Mr. Benny, he indicated that his event went on seeing an improvement with regards to patrons. So from all indications, everything is going well. Even we had a last minute move with regards to O2 Park, I believe it was of Iron Park, and even that went well as well.
Okay, but in terms of overall number of those types of events that we have, I'm not speaking to the association in terms of numbers.
Yes, I have. Because we would have opened up different government agencies to facilitate the transition from the move, in constant contact with the association from getting the EMA approvals, and from all indications, they are saying that everything is, all systems are good.
While we're talking about government agencies, let me just ask, there's a event scheduled for Saturday, 7, which is being held at Helco, which is an active military base, manned by the Coast Guard. And I would like to ask, because I understand that everything points back to your ministry would have indicated that your ministry would have moved out everything when you removed us and so on. On what grounds did your ministry decide to use an active military base for the hosting of that time?
Given that you said active, that is not a true statement. Yes, it is a military base, but the approvals came from the Defense Ministry, and the minister, they gave the relevant approvals, and of course we just did the facilitated to ensure that the event happened.
Okay, in terms of Mr. President statement, when we used to event barracks, the money collected for the rental and so on of that facility would usually go to the military. Would you be able to say, or would it be within your remit to say where those funds are?
Where it usually went in the past, to the defense, to the Ministry of Defense, yes.
So it is going to the Ministry of Defense, not the Defense Force?
To go to the Defense Force.
Oh, thank you for that clarification.
Sure.
I understand that there is a medical facility at that particular venue, which would be used to treat with Defense Force persons in need of emergency. Do you know what the measures are seeing that facility is there?
I would like to pass that question to my colleague.
Let me answer also the question that you asked concerning the venue. When the idea behind the Brian Lara venue was shut down, that was one of the recommendations made. Now, this has been going on for years, I don't know if you're all familiar, but that area has been used many a times before. All the officers will do is provide different accommodations for those who are in fact there for medical reasons, meaning that they might be moved to Tetron barracks as the case may be. So that's a normal thing.
Okay,
They make some adjustments and all is well.
okay, I know that been using forward for a lot of smaller events, not of the size of.
I was thinking that it was there before.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was there before.
And yes, Minister, there were concerns that given the advanced state of technology, you have military at that particular meet, and given the advanced state of technology, there were some concerns raised by actually former Police Commissioner Gary Griffiths stating that most mechanisms are in place to be able to properly surveil and do all of those things at that particular site, given that there is military equipment at that particular site. Yours.
Yeah.
I think that is correct.
Let me answer that too. We have spoken to CDS for Sapolo, and everything will be done to secure all equipment away from the public who might be frequenting there on that particular day.
And Minister, would you be able to state whether the military, defense force would also be part, and all the TPS would be part of the security mechanism for that particular event?
Always have, always will.
So both the defense force and the TPS. Thank you so much.
All right, so we now invite TTT to ask their question. We've had a series of questions from all media houses present, so we go to TTT.
No.
For culture? Let me just get TTT and I'll come back to culture, yeah?
Hi, good afternoon, Daniel Jones. I just have a quick question for Ms. Alexander.
Right.
Last year, you would have mandated the camp training for the immigration officers following an investigation into the unprofessional treatment of caring racism at the Piaco International Airport. Has that training commenced?
Not quite yet. We had secured someone who is willing to come and assist. But then there were some things happening out of the country or the country that the person was coming from that caused some delay. But it is still on the books. It will remain on the books as long as whatever existed at the airport is not yet treated. So yes.
So we go for culture questions from Guardian Media.
I hear you. It's too bad.
First one from Minister Benjamin, sorry, and the second one based on security for Minister Benjamin. I'm not sure if you're aware, the San Fernando Carnival Committee are not having any competition this year. What are your thoughts on that? They're saying they didn't get enough funding as they should.
I saw that article. It was sent to me by someone from your media house. But then I recall an article, I think this January 22nd, from your same media house, stating that the mayor said that he's not having a lunch and that he is cutting back. So given that the mayor would have said that in the public domain, for him to now come and say that he does not have sufficient funding, I don't understand. But what I would like to say to the general public, my ministry and that of my state board, NCC, we are here and we are ready to assist San Fernando. Your carnival will go on.
Security reasons, security concerns raised, you talk about warning criminals to stay away and noticing for carnival coming up. Based on the video, there's a lot of, just to be specific, there's a lot of distrust towards the police service. What, if anything, can you say to dissuade that level of thinking?
Oh, sure. And again, I don't want to talk too much about a matter that is engaging the type of attention that we are seeing now. However, the training of police officers and members of...
Yeah, good.
Yeah. All right. Police officers are trained to de-escalate a situation. All right? And what we are asking members of the public to do, especially in that particular area, is don't cast all police officers with the same brush. What you saw was just one situation. And I'm sure, knowing the area there, they would have called police before and get the type of response that they were looking for. And that is what we are telling members of the public. One situation must not convince you enough to think otherwise about law enforcement when they would have been protecting you. I remember being on duty and shots were fired in that same vicinity. Police responded from all angles in order to protect the good citizens of that area. So as I said that, I tell the members of the public, you obey the law, let the police carry out their duties, investigations will take place, Director of Public Prosecution will make a decision. We, the government, will stand by the decision and let the chips fall where it may.
All right, so I think we have one more. Yeah. And so this is the last question. But before the last question, again, both ministers will be available for your discussion right after.
I'm not an animal, so I am well prepared to wait until a conversation concludes before I pose my question, Dr. Lee. But to the culture minister, referring to the question that was originally posed to you by Jensen concerning the cutbacks with regards to San Fernando's carnival and competition element of it not taking place. In the first article that you referred to that we published on January 22nd, the mayor said that they were going to be allocated $700,000 and that in itself was a reduction in its allocation. What he said in the new article that we published was that what they actually received was $500,000. So the cutbacks were going to happen anyway. So what we're trying to find out is whether you could clarify if there was a cutback or not in terms of expenditure from the NCC to the Carnival Committee in San Fernando to justify them deciding not to have the competition element.
All right. I want to put something again in the public domain, so this is to clarify everything outside there. When it comes to regional carnival, there are things called regional coordinators that is hired by NCC that would visit the different groups. The mayor put out in the public domain that he is cutting back San Fernando Carnival with regards to the launch. If you're cutting back something and what NCC has on the books, if the mayor is truthful, is that San Fernando Carnival, and I will quote just up to 3 years because those figures are in my head, would have received 700,000, and I'm seeing 2023, 700,000, 2024, 700,000, 2025, 700,000. For him to go to public that he is having a cutback and to say that he is scaling down, the regional coordinators took that as an indication that he does not need the same funding. You cannot be getting the same funding and scaling back your activity. That was put in the public domain by the mayor. And on seeing that article, my office and the coordinators reached out to the mayor. I requested a meeting with the mayor. But as I said in my first reply, the ministry and NCC, we stand ready. My entire family plays Juve in San Fernando, and the judging will go on without the city. If the city corporation is not ready to run the people's carnival, the people will run their carnival. We have brought the carnival back to the people.
So how would it, if you could give us like some idea of how the judging will take place outside of the mayor, like what mechanisms are?
Again, I said, all right, so regional carnival, it is run by regional coordinators, and every regional area or community, there are several regional carnival groups. So in the city of San Fernando, if memory serves me right, and don't quote, but I know I have one in Marabella, there are a lot of carnival committees. So there are different groups that could come to NCC and apply for the funding and do the judging.
The next question I have, he said in the Inland Revenue Division would have noted that they're going to tax artists for their performances and whatnot over the carnival season. What message would you have to those that may be a little bit disgruntled that their earnings may, be tapped?
I know that is still a conversation, and my office remains open. As of when I started my portfolio, I would have started day one meeting with the artists, and my main goal is to make sure that the artists earn more. And when that conversation furthers to the fact that that is actually implemented, but as far as I understand, that is just a mere conversation that is far from implementation.
Well, thank you very much, members of the media, Guardian, CNC3, TTT, and TV6 and Express. Thank you very much, as well as 10 Point Solutions for joining us. Again, the government goes to Parliament on Friday with more legislation to serve the country, so we ask you to join us then. Thank you very much.